Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome to That's Pride. This is your weekly dose of colourful queerdom, and I'm your host, Rylan Cavell. Joining me on the jolly pink sofa are Stephen Kaman and Wesley Hall. You can get involved in our discussion tonight by tweeting at That's Manchester with the hashtag That's Pride. Welcome to the show, both of you. You enjoying the lovely pink sofa there?
Thank you very much for having me.
Good evening. Yeah, you can't really miss it, can you?
No, it's delightful.
It's comfort.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot to talk about on the show tonight. With his activism is just a minor part of that. But we're going to start the show with a couple of this week's LGBT news stories. But first of all, tell us a little bit of what you get up to. Go on.
Basically, over the past year or so, we've been raising awareness with regards to austerity, homelessness, poverty, and a lot of the problems that are in Manchester city centre. And I've been trying to create some form of movement online to address all the problems and get the community working together to create solutions.
Wonderful stuff. And Steve, what do you get up to?
Well, far less interesting. I do my day-to-day 9 to 5 in IT telecoms, but I also partake in some radio shows and that kind of thing locally.
Oh, what might they be?
The Gay Agenda Radio on Fab. The Gay Agenda Radio Show on Fab Radio International.
Welcome back to That's Pride. I am Rylan Cavell, and please do get in touch to have your say in tonight's discussion. Tweet us at That's Manchester with the hashtag That's Pride. With me are Wesley Hall and Stephen Kaman. Here in Manchester, as I'm sure many of you at home will have noticed, over recent years there has been a massive increase in the number of homeless people on our streets. Many of these people are vulnerable, alone and at risk. Wesley, there's a group in the city which patrols around Canal Street, the Manchester Angels. They do a lot of good work. You've done some work with them in the past, haven't you?
No, it's the Angels in Canal Street are not connected to the Manchester Angels.
Are they not?
No.
The tricksy little hobbits.
There's a few different groups that are called Angels. We're out on a Saturday night in Piccadilly from 4 p.m. till 2 a.m. when all the other services are closed. We provide like a street kitchen, outreach, signposting to support services, housing advice, and just general things that they need, like hot food, tents, sleeping bags, general things.
I mean, quite a tall order to get that organised for the number of people you need to supply that for every week.
There's quite a lot of people. I think the last official statistics we looked at winter were around 230 people going through the booth centre.
Really?
And that is on the increase. If you look at the statistics in Greater Manchester alone, since Mr Cameron's been in power, it's increased 150%. So we're seeing so many more people that are not being able to get to these services, being turned away from the council. And the sad thing is with these austerity measures, we're seeing kids from 18 to 21 stripped of the housing benefit. And there's going to be a huge influx because Manchester's not seen the start of the austerity measures. And when we see things like universal credit kicked in, then it's going to get worse. So like, I'm trying to create a movement in Manchester so that the community can come together, regardless to what religion they are, regardless to what sexuality they are, regardless to any stigma attached to anything. I just want people to come out and care about the city that they live in, the city that they work in, the city that they play in. And there's so many people in Manchester that are great people, regardless to what's oppressing us, whether people want to blame central government or this council or whatever. Let's just not leave it to them. Let's do it ourselves. Yeah, let's get out there. And it's easily done. I mean, I could just put a call out. Every single person has got like at least 100 people on Facebook. Now, if they put a call out on Facebook and ask people to go in their houses to get old tents, old clothes, things that they don't use, then it's not costing anyone anything.
Yeah.
They can literally come down to Piccadilly every Saturday between 4 and 2, drop it off, and we'll distribute that to people. I won't ask for cash. If anyone comes and offers us cash, I won't take a cash donation. If we're running out of milk or bread or coffee or anything like that, I'll say, look, there's a shop over there, we're running out of stuff. If you want to purchase us some food that we can hand out, that's all fine. But we do like, if we need something that's expensive that we could never afford as an activist, like a piece of catering equipment or something like that, we just put a crowdfunder on online, and there's that many people that care. If they all chuck a quid in,
Yeah.
It's easily done. So there's about 20,000 people now on the Manchester Angels page, and it's just growing each week. We're seeing, when on the outreaches, people just literally walk past and think, what's this? Start speaking to us. We're explaining, we're handing out information about austerity, about the cuts that have already happened in Manchester and the cuts that are planned. And we're just detailing real things that are happening. The fact that all the support services are closing, all the support services are losing the funding, and it's just going to get worse to a point where these people won't have any support. We've then got simultaneously property developers in Manchester buying out all the land, trying to move out the poor from the city centre and offering unaffordable housing. So these people can't get into housing. They're presenting themselves at the council, and the council are turning them away. Unless you've got, unless there's a risk to fire or flood, you're 16, 17, or you're a woman that's pregnant, the council are turning you away. The sad thing is that Manchester City Council have just imposed an injunction that's criminalising homeless people for using a tent.
Yeah, that's what we'll come on to, because there's the ARC currently.
It's like there's a cycle where there's somebody who's fallen into crime, they get criminalised, they go into prison, they release from prison, there's no housing advice, there's no support, and then they sat on the streets contemplating doing another crime to go back into prison.
So surely they should be encouraging homeless people to use tents because it'll keep everybody safer. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Safe, warm and dry and alive.
The thing is,
it just boggles the mind.
Well, what they've actually done is they've attached to this injunction the political aspect of it. So they're actually saying that if you use a tent, the wording is there, it's for all to see. If you use a tent, you are protesting against the council's homelessness policy. And this is detailed, and we've got videos of the council saying this. And that's the thing that's wrong. It's like you said, wouldn't you think logically that these people would be safer? It's as though they are making it harder, and we're finding out from these homeless people that, say for instance, they're asleep in a doorway, they're being woken up by police and by council workers and not being able to get a sleep. So by the time they wake up, well, they're not getting any sleep. By the time they've got to go to a job centre appointment or any other appointment, they're drained.
Wasn't there a big shop in town as well that put the homeless spikes outside for a while, but they reversed that?
Yeah, there's a bit of an online outcry, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Was that because of you?
No.
We can't claim that one.
No, I can't.
The poor pothole dears didn't want to see the homeless people when they're going into.
That was actually a lot of people created awareness about it, but it was a tutor at the Manchester University, a lady called Kathy. She created the online petition, and that just sent things into a spiral. And the same thing happened. They were bullied into taking them off. The same thing happened to Foxtons down south. They were pressurised because they had spikes. And literally, if all you need to do a bit of direct action, if anyone's proposing to do anything inhumane, like put spikes outside, just phone them up, threaten them, just jokingly say that there's going to be a protest outside your store, and I'm telling you now, they will not put them spikes up, or they will take them off. It's just
it's bad publicity.
Exactly.
At the end of the day,
like what happened with McDonald's in town on. There was a franchisee who owns all the McDonald's in the city centre, and he'd lied to his staff saying that there was a policy in place that the homeless people couldn't be served there, no homeless. So what happened, we invited all the activists from the north, we just closed McDonald's down.
Yes, I remember that happening. Yeah, that was quite recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was only a few months ago, and I just thought it was sad that, but everything that they're doing, whether it's giving them an injunction or saying that they're banned from McDonald's, we're just turning that around, using that to create awareness for the campaign, and more people are now understanding that you're one wage slip. I used to say 3, but you are now 1 month's wage slip away from being homeless with the way that things are. Everyone is in a predicament on the last week before they get their wage where they skin. That's just this time. Our government is lying to the rest of the world, saying that we are the 5th or 4th richest economy in the world, while there's 1 million people dependent on food banks, and we're printing fiat currency. It's a con. We're living in a time where our government is facilitating corporate greed over humanity, and we've got our government that are bailing out banksters, that are creating all these social issues that derive from the 2008 financial crash. And this is what the real problem is, that we are patching up these elites. And we, as taxpayers, are allowing this government to do that. By voting for this government, by falling into this trap, where they're saying that we're all in this together.
They're kind of, because they've got the majority just about now, which nobody really expected, I think, surprised everybody. But they're being more and more blatant about it, I'm finding.
Definitely, it's evil. I mean, today, for instance, Ian Duncan Smith put in one of the rags that people can live on £7 a day. I think it was the Mirror, I'm not sure, don't quote me on it, but it was in today's paper, a tabloid. And he said that people in this country can live on £7 a day. And this is a man that's claiming expenses, £40-50 for his breakfast. We've got a government here like...
I'd like to see him try and live on £7 a day. I'm just thinking, like...
They always have a really good excuse as to why they can't try this themselves.
There was, sorry?
They always have a really good excuse
Oh,
as
they
to
always
why they
have.
can't try
there was
themselves.
a homeless guy, if you go online, the March for the Homeless in Manchester, he's a homeless guy that's travelled the country, and he's actually chatted to David Cameron, and he says on there that he said to Mr Cameron, why don't you come out and see? And Mr Cameron said, no, it wouldn't be secure for me. But the amount of security he's got, GCHQ and all these...
money poured onto security.
Yeah.
But it's going back slightly, the whole banking thing. Didn't Iceland have quite a good solution?
Yeah, basically what's happened in Iceland is grassroots movements came together and they crowdsourced their actual countries.
Was it the deficit, the money owed?
No. They crowdsourced their actual constitution. So they got every single person in Iceland to come together online and have their say. So there was a merging the online and the offline, and we had two political parties that were set up, and one of them was set up by a lady called Birgitta Johnsdottir, and she set up the Pirate Party, and they've formed...
We've got a bunch of them in the city, haven't we?
In Manchester. They've formed an international movement now where they're addressing things like privacy and things that we're not hearing about, especially in Manchester, like TTIP. Government are trying to devolve power to Manchester. And what I can see is literally there's going to be a lot of bad decisions that are made in Manchester after that and Lancashire. And the government are going to say, well, we left you to it. What I can see, especially with the fracking aspect, is that Manchester and Lancashire are going to merge. And if Lancashire and Manchester merge as the northern powerhouses, this is what they're trying to dress it up at. They're going to strip us of all our public resources.
It's not going to go well. We're going to have to pause for a small break, unfortunately. Very interesting, though. Yes, we have to take a small break now. When we come back, we'll be continuing our discussion with Wesley and Stephen. Please don't go anywhere. Have a glass of wine. Tea's done now. Welcome back to That's Pride. I am Rylan Cavell. Tweet at That's Manchester with the hashtag That's Pride to get involved in the show and have your say. We'll answer pretty much anything. We're not scared. Still with me are Stephen Command and Wesley Hall. We've discussed the work of the Angels and the plight of the homeless here in Manchester. Now let's move on to something which has become a bit of a hot potato in the Labour Party, and that is, of course, the hot potato Jeremy Corbyn and his rise to popularity. But he's going to be in Manchester in October, isn't he? At a particular event. Tell us, what's going to happen? What's going on?
Basically, the People's Assembly have arranged a week mass direct action where there's going to be absolutely all kinds of things happening in Manchester.
This is the 2nd to the 10th of October?
Yes, 2nd to the 10th of October. If you go onto the People's Assembly website, you'll see the full array of things that are on there. There's Frankie Boyle coming up, Owen Jones, Jeremy Corbyn, you've got the unions doing a march, you've got the students doing a march, disabled people against cuts. There's so many groups that are all amalgamating. And
this is like one of your ideals, isn't it? All the little groups, all the disparate societies just coming together to protest one.
This is perfect because this country, the people of the country have relied on party politics for so long. We've been let down in every single party. Every single party that's put forward policies has let us down and lied to us. So it's got to a point now where the whole of society doesn't feel engaged in politics.
Yeah.
That
lack
became
of trust, lack of engagement.
That became apparent at this last election. The sad thing is, though, is when they're using certain tactics to divide and rule and talking about topics like these right-wing newspapers are saying about immigration and things like this.
The language they use is very...
You've got very sneaky
very
and evil. You've got new parties popping up like the serious right-wing, this UKIP, and that facilitates and gives this kind of amoeba in a petri dish of racism to come out, and it's okay to be racist and things like this. And I just think, why are these groups, or even we need to oppose all these groups, and I don't believe in party politics, but the one point in my life now that I could actually look to someone and think that guy's got integrity, if he becomes leader of Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, there's going to be some serious changes. If anything, for what I do in Manchester and Lancashire, this council in Manchester is predominantly Labour. They're making a lot of irrational decisions, and it's clear that they're incompetent where it comes to homelessness and austerity. The thing is that Jeremy Corbyn, if he becomes leader, he is against austerity.
He's the polar opposite, isn't he?
He fights with the People Assembly. He fights with Stop the War. He fights with CND, and he has done this for years. This isn't just a little PR spin. This is a guy
He's principled, though. It's really obvious that he is principled, and he knows what he's talking about. I've seen him in the hustings and that kind of thing, and it doesn't sound rehearsed. It just sounds like he's giving his opinion on things.
And the beauty of it is he doesn't feed the anger, the hatred. All these right wings slagging him off and calling him all these different things and that. He's not biting back. He's saying, look, this is about politics. And when they're turning around and saying he's scruffy and things like this, there's an old video of him on YouTube. He says, this isn't a fashion parade. I'm wearing the jumper that my mum made because it's warm, it's practical, and I'm here to do the job. And it has took him years. He's following the legacy of Tony Benn, and I think he is the man for the job. I before this election, with what was happening with Miliband's campaign, I went to Question Time and I confronted Miliband specifically about Manchester, and I said to him, when your shadow secretary for the Department of Work and Pensions, Rachel Reeves, is still proposing to carry on with everything in the welfare reform except from bedroom tax, what's the difference between you and the Tories? And he couldn't reply. I had him on pause in front of the whole crowd. It was hilarious. And the thing is that we couldn't have followed that guy because he himself was
struggling.
He was, you know, he was lobbying Israel and making silly decisions and things like this. Jeremy Corbyn is real. He is a guy with integrity, and I have never in my life, if you go online, I was outside this Question Time thing, and I told people online, I got dragged away by GCHQ, and I'm on a BBC camera telling people not to vote Labour. But what I'm saying is not to vote Labour, but if you are deluded and vote, then please vote for Jeremy Corbyn if you're a Labour member.
Yeah. But so the actual Occupy Tory Conference event, I mean, obviously the Tory party are going to be here to just chat about how well they're doing.
How much money they have.
Well, no, it's not even that. Literally what they've done is they're coming up specifically to carve up this city. They couldn't dress it up as the Northern Powerhouse, but it's all about devolving power to Manchester. And there's plans ahead to amalgamate Lancashire and Manchester. Now, from what I can see, is that fracking is not economically viable. There's no money in shale gas. It takes more energy to get that gas out than the actual energy that you get after it. What the real agenda is globally, big money is in nuclear waste deposits. When these test drills go down in Manchester and Lancashire and all these other places, they're going to say, oh no, they're no good for shale, they've got nothing to do. But once TTIP goes through, and companies like Argas and all these major fracking companies have got these wells in place, then they can put nuclear waste deposits down, and we can't do anything about it. Central government will say we've devolved power. we left Manchester to it. So now is the time where if Jeremy Corbyn gets into Labour leadership, then he can put pressure on Manchester Council to organise austerity, because I've been asked to help the People's Assembly with their social media campaigns because I'm all right at online marketing, and I'm going to throw myself out because I believe in the movement. I believe that people create politics. It all goes back to the poll tax riots. That shows that people have the power, and all, you don't need to do it violently. You just need to look at Iceland and look at what Birgitta Jonsdottir and the Pirate Party and the Best Party and all these people have done. If you go online and go on YouTube and type in pots, pans and other solutions, they did this amazing. They was outside the buildings with pots and pans, and if you look at what we're doing, a similar thing. In the north, we've got peaceful movements like the nanas who have opposed fracking. Their campaign.
Everyone loves a nana.
Yeah. The nanas are amazing. They're the ones who look after me and real. Sometimes I'm an activist and I'm more scared of the nanas than I am the establishment.
I think you should always be scared of a nana. Well, they're knitting needles.
Well, the decision for when the fracking was going to go through in Lancashire, I'd got turned up the night before. And I expected that the decision was going to go through. So I put online, I'm setting up a camp outside the town hall, and I got these messages from these nanas, and they said, Wesley, if you make a decision like this and it messes up our campaign, I just thought, I'm packing this tent up. I'm not getting beaten up by 100 nanas. So yeah, we've got peaceful movements. We don't need to do it violently.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is that if you do it intellectually, if you embarrass them like Frankie Boyle and do it so that it's funny, that gets people in. And other ways, like there's a lot of people within music that are getting the message out now. The guy who I think it's an American rapper called Akon, he's now using his platform. He's getting lighting to 60 million people in Africa. So he's using his platform for real social change. And what we need, we've got Vivienne Westwood in the fracking, but we need more celebrities, especially in Manchester, to come and help campaigns, grassroots social movements. Now, one of my friends, he's been in like Shameless and all these things, not Emmerdale, EastEnders and Hollyoaks. He's called Jody Latham. And he's been like behind the scenes, supporting me and helping me. And he's like connecting a lot of dots and getting me onto shows and stuff like this, and this is what we need. Can you imagine if every single footballer at Manchester City and Manchester United give 10% 1 week of their wage? We would be able to make hostels. We would be able to build support services, and this is
people
what we
will be
need.
A lot better off.
Definitely, just one week, 10% of a wage 1 week. That's $3,500 or something off each football player. It's
and for them, what? That's pennies.
Pennies.
Yeah.
They could even write it off as gift aid.
Yeah.
It's mental, but this is what we need. Just a person who's in a predicament, maybe watching this, watching it online, watching a replay on YouTube, somebody who has got a platform, like a comedian in Manchester, what's he called? Peter Kay. There's I know he's from Bolton, what's the Manchester one called?
Jason Manford.
Jason Manford. There's loads of people. There's so much talent, creativity in Manchester that if everyone just throws their effort into it, we can do some good things.
But what can people expect from the actual Occupy event? I mean, you said that there's a parade.
There's marches.
Marches, sorry.
What we're hoping, what I'm asking everyone to do, is a bit of sarcasm. As the council have said that we're not allowed to use tents, I'm asking everyone to come to Manchester with a tent. We are going to occupy the surrounding area of the conference, all around the Midland, as many empty buildings that we can acquire. We are going to literally take the power from the city back into the people. This council, Greater Manchester Police, the establishment, the Tories, are never going to have ever seen anything like it. In June...
Can I read online as well, sorry, that you're looking for people to bring their cows down to protest the milk prices?
Yeah, if this is what I mean. We've been told that we're going to do roadblocks, so the Tories won't even be able to get in. We're going to have protests at the train stations. We're going to try everything. We're going to create so much awareness that the whole city centre is going to be glowing with energy. So yeah, if you're involved in Farmers for Action, bring your cows down. If you're involved in any disability rights campaigns, come down with your wheelchair, because the police can't move you. We can do roadblocks and they can't actually physically move you. So we're going to create as much chaos as we can, fun, peacefully, have a laugh.
Yeah, there's such a buzz around this at the minute. Like, it's brilliant online. Do you think the Tories must be shaking in their boots? At the minute?
Don't know.
I hope so.
Who in the
come
party
down to?
plan to have it at the GMEX? Why have they come into Manchester?
Surely they should have picked some remote island.
This is a Labour council, a Labour area, and these people have had enough. This is the second highest homelessness rate in the country.
We're going to have to finish up now for this part. When we come back, we'll be finishing up the show with some of the scrapes that Wesley got into in the name of activism and the greater good. We'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to That's Pride, where we are gracefully belly flopping into the final part of the show. With me are Wesley Hall and Stephen Kaman. On tonight's show we have covered a lot, and our overarching theme, of course, has been activism, if you hadn't noticed. And in particular, the activism of Wesley Hall. Now, the life of an outspoken activist, it's not an easy one, is it?
No.
You've been into a few tight scrapes. Spin the yarn, tell us the tale.
Basically, it all started with the homelessness when I was about 15. I got involved, I was kicked out, went to the council, they sent me to a hostel. In that hostel there were people taking drugs and stuff. My life went downhill from there. I got involved in crime, all sorts of stupid things, fighting at football games, going to prison, doing really bad things, taking drugs, addiction, all kinds of things. My life was in a really, really bad state. And then, like professionally, all I've ever been interested in is computers, design, marketing, sales, and that's my professional background. So what has happened is, like, I don't know, I had some form of like awakening whilst I was in prison, and I did a lot of reading a lot of inspirational books, people that were humanitarians. And I realised that I was in an oppressive system, that the system was designed to make people fail. The reoffending rate in Britain's over 85%. So these corporate prisons that are run by companies such as Sodexo and G4S, they're actually lobbying central government for further legislation, like these silly injunctions, criminalising people for using a tent. So what's going to happen if we see this TTIP transition? These corporate security firms are going to have more power, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on government for more prisoners. So we are literally falling into fascism, and where people are being sent to prison as slaves for a corporate entity. And when you're seeing people that are broken down psychologically and they want to commit suicide or walk into slavery, into a prison because there's no roof over their head, then we're seeing like all this. And I'd set up, after realising that this oppression was happening, and I'm seeing loads of different things happening in Lancashire and Manchester, I initially thought, I'm going to set Manchester Angels up. So I had a big conference on Canal Street, an amazing production company did all the presentation and stuff, and I had a conference in front of I did two conferences, one for the public, one for the professionals. So on the professional side, I'm sat around with all these counsellors and the police and everything, and prior to that...
Yeah. A shirt and tie?
No. I don't wear a shirt and tie.
I didn't think that was your style.
No. But I've been open with everyone, and I've told them about my past, and I knew that this was going to be a thing that would be used against me. Yeah. So I thought...
Best to be open then, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought the only way... I mean, all my previous convictions and that are online, so I thought the only way to tackle this is to be open so that they've got no ammunition. And I was told by this particular chief inspector of Manchester that he backed the idea, and I've, to this day, got the text message where he said that he backed my idea. Halfway through the conference, because they'd realised that I built a lot of momentum, and there was a lot of people following me, thousands after weeks, they wanted to cap it. They didn't want somebody like me having this control. And halfway through the conference, the police turned around and said, look, we don't back him, blah, blah, blah. A week later, Manchester Evening News printed all my previous convictions, and that was it. Wesley Hall, the person who's changed his life, who more than likely logically understands the streets and all the oppression, is no good to run this project. So it was illogical. And they tried chastising me. The police, Key 103, the people who originally come to meet me, and a few volunteers set up Manchester Street Angels using a similar logo, similar colours, and they were trying to confuse people. Even to this day, they've only got a few thousand people. I've got God knows how many people. And it's not about how many people are on the page. It's how many people are actually coming out of their homes to help people. So, earlier in April, the momentum over the past year has been amazing. We set up a March for the Homeless in Manchester to create awareness. There was literally hundreds of people. And all I wanted to do is peacefully occupy Manchester Town Hall. So the intention was to go to the Town Hall, go inside, sit down, and just sit there quietly until we got some form of intervention. So we've gone there. It's not gone to plan. G4S staff were pushing people, the police were assaulting disabled people, elderly people, children, and this is all to see online on YouTube. If you go on and type in March for the Homeless, you can see Great Manchester Police actually assaulting children. So what had happened is a little girl had got into the corner of the town hall doorway and she was being squashed. It was my friend's daughter. We heard about this. I was inside the building at this time. We heard about this. I've come outside the building and I've pulled the police officer off this young girl. She was about 13 years of age. She was being crushed. So I've pulled him away and everyone's been pushed. The amount of people that were behind me, I looked around, seen them all, and I thought, no, I'm not having this. There's too many of us. There's 4 of them at the front. Let's not forcibly do this. Let's not fight them or anything. Let's just turn around and walk backwards so that we're not doing anything wrong. We're not confronting them or anything. So I asked the people behind me to push me forward. The gap broke. Everyone went in the town hall. We then set up a camp surrounding the town hall and a soup kitchen. And one of the police came over to me and said, how long are you thinking of staying here? And I just turned around and said, until we get a meeting with the council and the people who are making the decisions regarding homelessness.
And did you get the meeting?
No, at 10 o'clock in the morning, when I went over to speak to them, I have got good intuition. I always trust my intuition, and I had a gut feeling that I was going to be arrested, that I was going to get a spurious... I don't know how this came to me, but there was some spurious charge, and they were going to try and disassemble the protest camp, because it started off and there's a lot of people there.
It's in their interest to not have too much of a sort of a loud noise about something, isn't it?
So I was arrested, and I'm saying to these police officers, what have I been arrested for? I haven't done anything wrong. I've just created awareness about homelessness and started feeding people. What have I been arrested for?
You monster.
I know. So you caring for people, it's not
crazy.
permitted.
So the sad thing is like, because I've not been in trouble for years, it's a bit disheartening now that if I wanted to have a DBS or anything like that, they're trying to tar me now with 2 spurious charges. They're saying that I've assaulted G4S staff. And if you go online and type in March for the Homeless Manchester on YouTube, you can see that I've not assaulted anyone. I did a stupid...
So it's out there.
Yeah, I did a stupid thing. I knocked a police officer's hat off. That's not assault. So, and the other
that's
thing...
being mischievous, but they won't like that.
The evil thing is it's not just fun and games where it's just going to go to a magistrate's court. They've added an additional charge, and they're saying that I was in possession of an offensive weapon. And all it was is a flag, a pirate flag. And they are now, because of that one thing that I was holding a flag, they've sent that to Crown Court. Now that means that there's a chance of years in prison for this, for raising awareness about homelessness.
And really are scraping the bar.
Well, I've spoken to my solicitor, and he said that the word is in the Manchester legal sector is that my solicitor said that this case is not necessarily criminal, it's now political, and the people that you are opposing are going to throw everything they can at you. So I've looked online and I've found a barrister at Chambers in Manchester that deals with human rights and publicly funded cases, and he got a good result with the anti-fracking cases at Barton Moss. So I'm going to go with him. You can't trust that many people in the legal world. So it's just about the only form of justice in our British judicial system is if you're in a Crown Court, because the rest of, well, magistrates are just a corporate, and the Crown, you've actually got a chance with a jury, with human beings that are not in the establishment. So that's the good thing.
Have an informed opinion of
when they
what's
see
actually
the
gone on.
video that I haven't done anything, then they'll be able to hopefully say that I'm not guilty.
Yeah.
So
well, my fingers are crossed for you anyway.
definitely, it's like, and then from that, the campaign's grown. The camps have got bigger. The camps have moved here, there, and everywhere. They've become stronger. There's now 2 camps. And it's all good now, because now we've got to a point where each and every single day in Manchester, there's someone providing food. Each and every day, there's people doing outreach. Each and every day, we've created awareness in the city centre where this council can not just dismiss it like they have done in the past. The council each year, like every council does, and I'll say this on camera, what actually happens is there's a yearly audit, and the council have to provide statistics to Homeless Link. What the council do is they employ somebody that walks around well-lit areas. So no homeless person is going to be in a well-lit area, they're going to be in a doorway. Yeah. So the Manchester Council might have said, like last year, that they had 9. I've got 9 in one tent. So it's like...
yeah, so you have the actual figures.
Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to do. I've just proposed that I set up now, I'm going to get a lot of people, a lot of outreach groups around the country to facilitate an 0800 number, an online number, and I'm going to amalgamate technologies that we're using, like voice over IP phone calls. When you go online to a website now, you can chat to the one of the staff that work there about particular products and that. I'm going to have an 0800 number where a homeless person, a national number where they can literally go to a phone box. There'll be someone, a volunteer, that doesn't necessarily have to be in a call centre. They can be sat at home, like a Skype conversation, in the bed, and they can volunteer. They don't have to come out on the street. They can volunteer a couple of nights a week to be a street mentor, and then they can actually advise someone. And I'm going to create a database of all the intervention so they can signpost
things, like where to get food, where to find shelter, all those sort of things. That's amazing. Like, so how far away do you think that is?
Well, I only thought about it today.
Oh, well. No, it's breaking news, folks.
So, yeah, I only thought about it today, but it was just logical. We're not messiahs. We can't run around and help everyone.
But we do what we can.
Yeah, and
I'm unfortunately going to have to wrap up the show here. It's been absolutely
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, everyone at home. That's all we can squeeze in tonight's show. Make sure you tune in next week, same time, same place. Thank you to Stephen and to Wesley. I've been Rylan Cavell. You've been fabulous. And we have been That's Pride. Good night. See you next week.